It's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's LinkedIn Live, Hour of Empower. This show is getting to be so interesting and exciting based on the new individuals, guest hosts we're getting on, and also having that one word that people can focus on, maybe plan for. Today's word is responsibility. I've got Andrea on today, who's on pretty much every Tuesday, and is a joy to bring her her perspective and her energy. Chat's open. We depend on you to help us direct where we can think and do.
Oh,
Leslie's here early.
Leslie,
Becomes
welcome.
the number one cheerleader, and me and Leslie are doing a show tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. It's about beliefs. So
Mm.
every word is important. Thank you, Leslie. Can't wait till tomorrow. So with that, what's your thoughts, Andrea, on responsibility?
Kelly, responsibility. Well, what does it? What does the word mean, really? Huh? What's the definition of this word? And it's either having a control of someone or having a duty, to keep it that simple. So, with controlling someone, we don't mean the manipulator. We mean, for example, the nurse who is controlling someone's life because she took on the duty to provide them with their care and their medication. That is a responsibility. And I believe, and thank you for all nurses out there, it's a big responsibility. And so the duty, that's the duty of care. And then we have taking control of someone is also how we bring up our children. Yes, that is controlling them in their upbringing so that they don't get hurt. And there we have a responsibility to actually phrase our alerts towards them in a different way, not, oh, don't do this. Yes, but rather say, if you do that, you will burn your finger. So then, when they play with a candle, it's a totally different thing, because when we keep saying, don't do that, we undermine their, um, um, how do you say, oh gosh, their confidence. Yes, we are
Mhm.
bringing them down on a low level in life, where we vibrate on a lower level. And this is actually what I'm going to talk about, is when it comes to responsibility about our own lives. And we tend to blame others rather than looking at ourselves and taking responsibility for our own actions, for our own words. And why are we doing this? We are doing this because we want to ignore our own negative feelings. So, what do you say, Dawn? I think you want to greet people first, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, and it's just the best of the best here today. So Leslie's here. Leslie's just unbelievable. Kelly's here. Kelly's one of the anchors here, and one of the reasons this show is what it is today. Leslie is calling in from North Carolina. Christine, who's unbelievable. If you don't know Christine,
Yeah.
reach out to her, make a connection. It'll be one of the best connections you make. Olu's here, uh, greeting everybody. So it's a circle within a circle, maybe within another circle.
Mr. Bean, Dean, Mr. Bean just arrived.
Hello, Don and Andrea. Happy Tuesday. I'm so grateful to be here to support, learn from you both today. Well, it's becoming more of a circular learning process now. And that's the cool thing about having a word, is everybody at least is focused on what it is that's going to be talked about or related to, and what you can bring to it. Because what I was thinking is, we're getting to know each other better every day by sharing more every day about each other. And now it's a point where, now what can we do together to make more happen for each other, for others beyond ourselves? You know, to put this creative energy into action, even if it's small things. Uh,
Ella,
Olu,
fine. Ooh,
okay,
sorry.
I guess good morning. Great seeing you again. Dean is here with his potato, not bean. Uh, so thank you, Dean. I've got a call scheduled with Dean. Love to get to know more about what he thinks about everything we're doing. Leslie from Lagos, Nigeria, with love and joy. Truly, here for my daily dose of joy, detoxification, and just all around healing community. Cheers. Well, it is a community, and
Mm.
it's a healing community, and a strengthening community, right? Depending on where you're at and what your needs are at the time. Um, Here we go. Must be Roxanne
Poor look.
from New York. Uh, Olu, Dean. Okay, a lot of greeting going on. Kim's here. Kim's just great. Wishing you all a terrific Tuesday. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being responsible. Don and Andrea, by showing up for us. My pleasure. And I know Andrea is just really enjoying the process. Dean, stop flirting with Andrea. Oh, uh, well,
They're
you
making
two
me
are going to take
flush.
for Charlotte's Hong Kong place pretty soon. Do that sofa coaching or surfing. Uh, Leslie says, okay, a lot of introductions caught up with all that. So, yeah, I think, responsibility is taking action with what you believe in, right? And when it's done, taking responsibility for the result, right? So you got to be responsible to start, and you got to be responsible when you finish, right? If you take out power equipment, you don't just leave it outside. When you're done mowing the lawn, you bring it into the garage or wherever you place it. And it's the same process with yourself. And that's part of the review process. The
Mm.
reflection process is not who's responsible, but how did I become more responsible? Most people split responsibility. They say it's half yours, half mine. And if you do yours and mine, it works.
Mm.
Well, it only works when that happens.
That's
You
exchange
know?
market.
Yeah. Well, there's transactions and everything. Happy Tuesday. Lillian's here. Lillian will be on the show. I'm a big believer if you're participating anywhere, you should be participating everywhere. Alice here, I suppose. Uh, Nice to see everybody. It's great to be a meeting grounds, a safe harbor where people can come, share, learn, grow. Oh, Dr. Joanne's here. She was just a wonderful guest. And that's the key. People have voices. People have an opportunity to be seen and heard for who they are, and that's really wonderful. What's your thoughts, Andrea?
Yes, it's really wonderful. And well, they're all taking the responsibility here today to learn from us, eh? Isn't it? They come
Mm-hmm.
here to learn from us, and that is wonderful. And as I just said, before we take responsibility, we rather blame others, and that has to do with the fact that we want to ignore our own negative feelings. And so, taking responsibility in life means that you have to become aware of yourself. That is the only way you can become responsibility about and taking the action towards your life. And
Mm-hmm.
well, as we all know, awareness is the part of self worth and self esteem and self love. And, you know, so we need to make the step first. Are we ready to take the responsibility to take care of ourselves first and then others? That is what it's coming down
Mm-hmm.
every time again. And I think I've done this self worth practice once before, but I'm going to do it again because that is a significant step towards. Whoops! What happened? Let me check my my.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
So it's a significant step. So I'm asking you again, guys, shut your eyes and imagine yourself on a paradise island. And you are there completely alone. There's no family member, there's no colleague, there's no friend, there's not your dog, your cat, whatever animal you have. You are completely there alone. And whilst you are there, imagine the warmth, imagine the beach, imagine hearing the palm trees in the wind, and you are there lying there playing with the sand in your hands and feeling absolutely content. Absolutely content. There's nobody there, and you are just you alone. And I'm asking you to rate yourself between the number 1 and 10. How, what will it be? Just let me know in your comments. Let's start at least some one or two, and then I will tell you tell you the truth about self-worth. Go on. Oh, they're still saying hello, hello, everyone. I want to know how you rated yourself out there on that beautiful island where you are completely alone. Evening, and I think they have their own conversation now. They don't want to imagine this. But anyhow, no matter if you want to play with me or not, I will tell you, you are self-worth as matter of being. Coming here on this world makes you self-worthy. There's nothing. Oh, here we have Lillian. I'm so sorry, but you are a 10. So I'm not sorry, really. You're a 10. You are self-worthy as matter of being, and we should, this is such a plus point. If you write it down somewhere, oh, Dean 5, oh, we need to talk. So if you are there, if you write it down somewhere, leave it somewhere where you can see it, and the only sentence it needs is self-worth as a matter of being. And I will explain, because your children, oh, Christine, that is great, 11, because the thing is, when you came here, your parents didn't wait for you to start talking or walking before they thought that you were the absolute wonderful child they conceived and gave birth to. Yes, you were a 10 as matter of being. And I think knowing this is such it's such a big plus point, because it's a relief, because when others say you are worthy because you have succeeded in your final exams, that is BS. It has nothing to do with it. That is only adding to your self-esteem. Yeah, so that's the start of becoming aware, and then we sit down and we start thinking about what is our true thought about us. How do we truly feel about us, and what do we value? And when we come to our values, we know if the values are not in alignment with the responsibility we have taken for us. This is the moment you need to work on yourself. Yes, and this is the moment you need to decide to change. And many, and so did I was running away from my responsibility about my life, and I shortly get into this one. 20 years together with a narcissist, and I blamed him for everything, all my bad feelings, everything which happened to us, everyone who had bad comments about him or me or the family. I always blamed him until the day I took the power back by taking responsibility about my own life, by saying, okay, enough is enough. I can not love him enough to make him heal. There's no chance to heal a narcissist. So what do? You walk away. At that moment, I took responsibility about my life, and I started to taking the power back. And this is what it is. I used this quote today, and it says responsibility is not a burden. No, it is freedom. And this is what it is. When we take responsibility about our own lives, we set us free. We set us free from everything which is happening outside of our control. And I'm asking you, and please interact with me now. I want to know, what is something you cannot control in your life? Don, you. What is something you can't control?
Well, you can't control what other people think, and you can't
Exactly.
control what other people do. And if you know you can't do that, and you know you can help yourself with
Yeah.
yourself, start with yourself. Take responsibility first to get yourself right first.
Mm,
You know, if you go into something hoping someone's going to complete you, you're just going to be a burden on them, right? I'm
mm,
short. Can you help me? Well, why don't you get
yeah.
that figured out or call me in advance? You know, so I think responsibility is doing things in timely fashions, in thoughtful fashions.
Mm,
You know, when you say, hey, that person wasn't very responsible when they said that or did that, right? There's a definition of responsibility, but also responsibility goes with accountability.
Christine, sorry. Christine came up with a comment.
We are the only ones that have the power of us as understand that you have a purpose. However, I can't control others' judgment, as that is on them looking into their own mirror. And you know,
Yeah.
maybe responsibility comes with boundaries,
Yeah.
right? Where you say, at this point, I'm not going to get involved in that, with that, or who that. And at this point, I'm going to take control over my area again if someone encroaches it. You know, so it's being vigilant. But like I say, accountability is part of responsibility, right? Because then you take account of it, you know? So the responsibility is assuming it like I own it. It's mine, good or bad, you know? And responsibility can be for good things. It can't be, I made a mistake, I feel responsible. I can, you know, it has to have the whole spectrum to it. And at the end of it, it should be normalized. It shouldn't be traumatized, right?
Mm,
Most people say, "Oh, I got to take responsibility." It's like I've got to take punishment now, or blame, or apologize, right? When a lot of it is self-responsibility, where it's only you and you that needs to reconcile or resolve. Here's a good point from Ambola. It gets to a point we let go of certain things about our lives and take responsibility for our actions and make amends. You know, the beauty of taking
yes.
responsibility is you get to move forward faster, right? If you're sitting around saying who's to blame, who should take responsibility, you're getting stuck in the past and it may not change. So just doing more of the same will get you more of the same. Uh,
See, so
Lily,
you don't have control over your past. That's another one.
that's true. You know, boundaries are so important. Uh, Let me see. Oh, Christy comes back with a great book, Boundaries. You
Hmm.
know, that's another opportunity for people to reach out and share with other people. Accountability and boundaries. Here's one that says it gets to a point where we let go of. Okay, well, and you know, I think the key is once you understand what it is and it's not bad, you're more inclined to take advantage of it, right? So if
Mm.
responsibility is a good thing and you feel better about it, and it allows you to move forward in a happier mode, right? Everything should be learning, not
Oof.
should be, you know, having a negative situation. So Andrea, what's your thoughts with all these new Uh,
Yeah, there's one thing. Well, you already mentioned the past, and I also want to mention the future. We can't control the future, but there is a but for me. I can control how I would like to see my future. I can visualize. And when I do that on a daily basis and visualize and be grateful for the future, I can control a part of my future. Unexpected things, of course, I cannot control. If we get sick, for example, or have an accident, or fall asleep forever in our sleep. Yes, we cannot control that, but you can visualize part of your future in the short run, like in the few months, or sometimes coaches say, where do you see your future in 10 years? That is too far for me. 3 years is good, is just about I can handle. Yeah. And I'm always writing down, and and this is also what I think is important. Be grateful for your future vision. You can actually say, you can write down, I am grateful for my beautiful job in blah blah blah, because you want to have a job in that area, in that how do you say it? In that sort of business. So visualizing, yes, Benita says visualization is very important. It is. And the other thing, you cannot control, and Christine said, you missed that one. Christine said, I can't control. She can definitely not control her husband, and that is true, and she shouldn't. We cannot control how somebody is taking care of themselves. That is their responsibility and not ours. Yes. When we talk about children, it's a different thing because they don't know yet. But an adult should know what their responsibilities are. And one of the responsibilities is living a healthy life, for example. Yes, making a choice there. So, what do you think, Don?
well, everything is a choice, and the choices should depend on the results, right? If you're doing good and feeling good and moving in the right direction, then keep doing keep following that. But if at the end of the day you don't feel satisfied, you don't feel comfortable, you feel something like took advantage of you, then
Mhm.
change. No one stops you from making a decision if you go right, if you go left, you go up, you go down, who you're with. And
Mm.
what LinkedIn and communities like this give you an off ramp, right? Can say, hey, I'll have a call with Lillian next week, or I'll have a call with Paul. Everybody who knows each other well enough is open for a call. And if you've never made the call, or it's been months since you had a call, and you have something important you want to talk about, then reach out, because that's how it begins. Whatever comes to you is going to come to you anyways. You can't
Mm.
control the universe, right? You can only control how you look at things, how you respond to things, and how you get happy. If someone's goal every day was just to have more fun every moment, right? If their whole goal was on a hunt to find out how much joy can they have with what they have, right? Most people say, when I get this, I'll be happy. I'm not going to be joyful until this happens to me. Well, what you're
Mm.
saying is it's okay if it never happens, because that's that's probably what's going to happen.
Mm.
And if you can say, if all I have is this, that means a lot, right? If all you got a chance is to look at the sky, that's a lot in itself. So if you lower your expectations, you'll lower your responsibilities, because I know from downsizing and getting more minimalistic, the less things I had, the less things had me, right? The less
Mm.
I take care of, the less I had to organize,
Yes.
the less I had to clean, the less I mean, and all that less created more of what I wanted time for. And some things aren't satisfying activities. Taking out the garbage every day is not, something that people look forward to, but it takes time away from thought, relaxation, something else. And I think the responsibility, again, is to take inventory, find out what's working for you, who's working for you and with you, and who isn't, and make a change. You go to the gas station every week because you have to fuel up. You run out of gas if you don't. Well, every so often
Yes.
you got to fuel up and say, hey, who's powering this person? Who's energizing me? Who's getting me excited to know what's going on every day? Because when you're involved in a group or something much bigger than yourself, you lose yourself in it. And the best
Mm.
part of what you lose is worrying about yourself, being alone, thinking things instead of asking and knowing. And I think once you get rid of confusion and doubt, because most people have very little to work with, and based on that, they make a fast judgment, you know, and that's never going to be sustainable long term. So, let's go back to these comments. Dr. Joanne says, can't control the weather, traffic, or people's perceptions.
Mm.
And why would you got to ask yourself, why would you want to anyways? you know I can't okay, we talked about okay, we talked about that. Let's move down. uh Ambimbola, okay. Kim, responsibility comes with accountability and boundaries.
Yes, and I would like to say something about the boundaries. You don't
Sure.
set the boundaries for others, you set them for yourself. Eh? When you know your values, you set the boundary for yourself. And you take responsibility for yourself when you don't step over them. Because you know when you step over them, you will get hurt. That's it. Full stop.
Hmm. Well, and I think that's so important because what boundaries are you creating for what reason? And does it allow you to enjoy the boundary within the boundaries,
Mm.
right? And does that serve you well? And again, just like people change clothes every day and think nothing of it, how often do you change opportunities? Or, even with LinkedIn, every day I do a poll. It gives me something to think about. What do I want to ask? Every day we come up with a key word here. What do we want to discuss? Right? So you have to lay the groundwork, the foundation to build on. And in order to do that, you've got to encourage, like I think Andrea's done a fabulous job today, encouraging interaction, focusing on, think of this, having a little bit of a meditation to it. We all have gifts. We all have things that we're proud of. It could be a joke whenever you tell it, people laugh, right? If that's your gift, then share it with 40 people and give them your best joke, because this is not being graded. This is not like smart or wise. It's just, what do you have right now based on what you're feeling right now with the group, to say this would be a benefit, right? And if all we looked at responsibility was creating benefits, and that's our responsibility for ourselves, for the people around us. And what that does is it models them doing more, right? We've got all these resources. We're not taking advantage of them as much as we could, because I don't know. That's the question. I don't know. That's what you can't be responsible for, is what you don't know, you know? So what's your thoughts, Andrew? We got an illustrious audience here today.
Yeah, I just saw one passing by, a message passing by from Harvey, thinking,
Okay.
saying about I don't think responsibility should be lonely. I think responsibility is shared. It shouldn't be a burden, it should be a privilege. Yes, that's what we have been saying. It is responsibility is giving you freedom because you are working in alignment with your values and your boundaries. Yes, and your boundaries are always set to protect your values. And because you do that, and because you do that being aware of it, you take the responsibility. If you take the responsibility for yourself, Harvey, I don't feel lonely. I don't feel lonely. I am filled with so much love for myself. I don't feel lonely. I don't know if you mean this, but let me know. uh, I don't feel lonely. I do believe that when we are in a relationship, family, colleagues, yes, we all have responsibilities. And the one is the responsibility when I say, I don't like to be lied at. For example, it's the responsibility of the other person to not lie to me, because if they lie, it's the end. I let them go. I've learned this over the years, and it's hard sometimes. And you think, and oh, I recently had something, and I was like, oh, I wish it would have been different. But if I let that person stay in my life, then I am going against my core value, and my core value is honesty. And if I feel, because it starts with my gut feeling, I feel it already that somebody is lying, and I'm still too not strong enough to actually say, okay, out. I wait till I catch them in the act. Usually it's very fast because I'm pushing them towards it, but okay, that is taking responsibility of your life. Yes, knowing, and the other person should be take the responsibility of, if they want to stay in my life, don't lie. As simple as that, full stop. And if you can't be the better version of yourself, then you don't belong into my life. Damn, and that was a hard school I had to go through to get to this point. Yeah, it was a hard school to get to this point. But I don't look back and say, oh, I wish. No, I've learned to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to learn from this situation.
Well, I think
And
that,
it's freedom. That is freedom too.
well, for sure. And, Ambimbola, visualizing is bringing the future before you. And the more you visualize your dreams and keep putting in the work, you will achieve your goals faster. My dad was
Mm,
always stresses that I should visualize a great future and speak it to reality. And that's so true because that's a
a
response.
wise dad.
Yeah, that's a responsibility you owe to your parents to continue
Mm,
what they wanted for you. To bring, their guidance even when they're not here anymore, and then integrate that in what you think about what you deserve, how you want to get it into. Andrea's point, I've always found when you just know you have to do something, you just have to do that something,
mm,
right? If it's
yeah.
if I always try to give the benefit of the doubt. Everybody has a bad day. Everybody may not be 100% thinking what they're saying, but when it becomes a pattern, when it becomes something that happens to other
Mm,
people besides yourself, and you just say, I'm in the wrong place, going the wrong way, I have to turn around, and that
mm,
person won't turn around. So you're not
yeah.
leaving somebody, you're going to where you want to find yourself a better place,
Mm,
right? And once you do it, you feel so much better about yourself for doing it that it motivates you to do it a little more often, a little faster, because I know every time I've had to separate from somebody that wasn't beneficial to me, I
mm,
always said I should have done it earlier.
yeah.
Why did I wait
Yes,
so
me
long?
too.
Yeah, I mean,
Me
it's
too.
once I
Yeah.
did it, It was like, hey, why did I even think about this for 6 or 7 weeks? Worry about
mm,
it. Ask myself, maybe it's me, maybe there's more to it, whatever, you know.
mm,
And even if you make a mistake, you're probably dealing with something that's never going to be that great in the future if you had to get to that point, right? And at a certain point, you do the best you can with what you got, what you know, and people should forgive you as much as you forgive them if you do make a mistake. And good people will see that, and those aren't the people you're really worried about walking away from. So we've got some great comments. Kim is here. Would you say our thoughts are included in responsibility, redirecting negative thoughts and narratives for examples? The more you
for
talk
sure.
about that, I don't understand why even a negative thought should be embraced, just by being negative, because you could have a positive thought to whatever subject you have. And I think responsibility takes care of the negative thought, right? This isn't
Mm,
right. I'm going to take responsibility and get out of it or end it or do whatever I have to. I mean, if you step in mud, you don't just hang out there. You get your foot out as fast as you can, get cleaned up, and move forward, And I think but again, we always talk, things are so important to disengage from them people,
mm.
right? A shoe doesn't fit, you don't think twice. You just put on another shoe. A person doesn't fit, you try to make it fit, or you bend a little for it. What's your thoughts, Andrea?
Well, I think I've mentioned it before, but the truth is that around 60 to 70% have a partner, a relationship, because they are bending in their values, because they don't know their values well enough. I'm a proof. I didn't really knew my values well enough until I sat down and I got some help, and we looked at what are your values, what do you want in your life, and then you come to the values, and then all of a sudden you also see that that bending a bit in your values. And as a people pleaser, the one I was bending a lot in, in my values. It didn't serve me. Yes, it didn't serve me. It made me unhappy. I was the gray mouse in the village, and I don't think they recognize me if I come back. Sorry, I'm laughing about my own joke here, but I
That's a,
think they don't.
that's a good boundary.
I don't think they will. But yeah, I mean this part of there are three ways of having a relationship, huh? And most of the people have the one where they bend a little and make it fit, and it's the relationship where you actually say, yeah, okay, I do my part of the relationship and you do your part of the relationship. It's like being on an exchange market. I bring the bananas and you bring the mango, for example, right? Yes, to make it fit. But the real relationship should be that you are 100% you, and the other person is 100% him or her, and this is how you can be, form a unity, become one, because you allow your partner to be in everything they are, and you there's no envy, there is no wanting to help them because it is giving validation to you. No, you want to serve your partner, or be their best soulmate, their friend, because you empty your bucket a bit because what is going on?
No, you're still showing
Oh,
up. Your picture is good.
yeah. Oh, but I lose you. I don't see you anymore. And I'm going,
Oh,
oh,
okay.
what's happening? So where was I? So that is the relationship one should prefer instead of bending a bit, because in the end it will this bending your values is going to make you unhappy. It's going to make you unhappy because you were not brought here on this earth to to forget about yourself. You were here to learn. This is earth school. And my I listened to my mentor today, and he was he was giving this great example of how, if we are on our deathbed, what do people want when they are on their deathbed? Do they want the picture of their most beautiful Ferrari, or do they want a picture of the first million they made? The banker. I don't know how you call it. Never mind. No, what they want is they want to see the people they love most. And how can you love most and do not feel significant about other things is because you have lived a life to work on someone's significance, someone else's significance, and that made you happy, and you stick to your love. And it's true. I mean, I've been on the deathbed of a friend, and the only thing he wanted was love, talking about love, feeling love, and everything else he had achieved in life was not important anymore. And I think when we keep this in mind, is this is what they talk where they talk about what legacy do you want to leave? Do you want to leave this legacy of, oh, there is Andrea with all the pictures of her ex-husbands? For example, oh, yeah, because I don't have a big jag, so I or something, so I'm using this one. But no, I want to leave the legacy that even when I'm gone, that Kim, for example, says, I remember the day I was at Adria's free session, and it was such an eye opener for me. And I really understand my emotions now, and I know how I can work on them. I know the trigger, and She taught me how to give myself the best gift, and that is love. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is what.
I think you covered a lot of ground, and to complement that, you know, people don't have to leave a legacy. They could share a continuing legacy,
Mm.
right? In the past, here's a picture. Well, that's what it is, a picture of something in the past, right? But a show like this that you're on will now continue to leave value and benefit and information for those who relate and align to it. And that's why I look at this as being very important, because things are preserved in conversation, right? People are bringing things up that, people have talk about their grandparents. They talk about this, and now all of a sudden their grandparents get known to all these new people. And
Mm.
they're not here to do it anymore. But in a way, you continue the messages that you adopted. And if you can share them and they're good messages, like I said, if you had a great joke, if you had a great meditation, if you had a great slideshow, It's bringing something that hopefully people can continue to share with you and
Mm,
by you. And then the legacy becomes, and the responsibility to it is, I remember Andrea said this one day and it made a difference, or it made me think of something that I should have
mm.
thought about, right? It's those little things that we're doing that anybody can say, let's look at it from this angle. Let's look at this facet of it and examine it for a little bit. And what does it tell us? And then let's share it together and see what collectively we can figure out here. Olu says, the sooner we come to terms with that fact, the sooner we're finding enduring peace of mind. I agree with you. Well, it just shows you that people are on the search, for happiness, for learning, for growing, for sharing. Uh, consummately, Dean says, and Dean's getting really more active, which is great. Love what you're saying, but one who has been there, and for me, no one showed up and broke me. Not sure I've recovered as of yet. Everything and everybody to a point is a work in progress.
Yeah.
We're always trying to improve, do a little bit better. Beneath thus says Lily and Howard, sometimes it's so funny that people we want to please don't even care. That's so true. You create this false expectation and then you stress yourself out trying to deliver it, and then no one even wanted it in the first place. So what's your thoughts about all these different perspectives, Andrea?
I think it's overwhelming how they interact with us, and I think I see. Can I? I hope everybody is taking it the right way. I see a learning curve here.
Mm-hmm.
I see a learning curve within people, how they have grown, how they have grown since they come to this show. I can see how how our discussions about certain um, subjects and topics make them understand life in a different way. And you can see that perspectives of life have changed, increased, and it's a more it's all over. Overall, it is really positive what I see here, and I think that is amazing. That is really amazing, and it's guys, live your life every day, and you show this. You
Mm-hmm.
show this, and I'm really proud of you. Proud of all of you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying, Andrea, because I see how it's transformed and it's gotten more comfortable,
Mm,
less formal as we're getting on, because the
mm,
amazement of what we can do here and who's here has kind of been absorbed. Now it's what can we do to help each other every day since we know each other, we've been introduced. And what can we do after here if there is something like minded, like Andrea created that free class that people took advantage of. If you've got something that's important, I mean, here is a way to expose it, not to sell it, right? So as long as we don't get into selling, but really just sharing, here's what I'm doing, here's where I'm going to be at. I'm happy to promote other people's shows, because that's another way people can learn. And
mm,
responsibility is creating freedom for others, not restricting it. Some people say you only need to hear one voice, you only have to follow one direction, and who are they to say what's what for everybody? And everybody gets better together because you're right. I can see Christine where she was 3, 4 months ago. And what I
mm,
see is people taking little pieces of whatever they find here and maybe making whole pieces of what they already have before they found it, or find a new person.
mm,
Things take a long time to happen. Sometimes they take a pretty good a length of time to unhappen and then to rehappen. But if you know you're stronger, better, and you know what I do realize? As long as this group is here, everybody's got somebody,
Mm,
you know? So as long as it's here at groups like this, there's a place you can go every day that if you need company or you want to help company, right? It used to go, why would I go there? What do I get out of it? Now it's starting to transform. What can I give to it? And how do I build goodwill from people who don't know me, right? Because at a certain point, you tell your story, everybody knows who you are. Okay, what do you bring to the party? You know, your story is not going to make it forever. You know, show your story in your actions, and they could be. Here's what I changed yesterday. You know, I believe every word we bring here always relates to change or reexamination, right? What am I taking responsibility for? What should I have taken responsibility for? You know, why not just give yourself a clean slate? You know, add up all the things, you know, agree to take responsibility for them and do better, and you're done with it. You know, we've got some more comments here. Redirect your affection and attention, then simple. It's not that simple. Make it so. Try. You know, and every day you get a little better. You know, there's no fire as long as you're getting towards your goal. Uh, you know, what's your thoughts, Andrea?
well, I said this before. We are on Earth School, and you will never stop learning and never stop improving until you have come to your final destination, the destination we all go to, and that's why I'm saying that one of the most beautiful things my mentor has always says: do not fight the current of life, just flow with it, flow with the river of life. And it's so true. It gives such peace to accept this. The same as many of us look back 6 months after something happened and saying, oh, now I understand why it happened, and I'm so grateful it happened to me. No, live in the now, be grateful for it now, because if you have the trust within, you know it's a lesson which is meant to be for you, and you just accept it and say thank you, and you will find when you are in hard times and you accept this as the lesson, and you write it down for yourself. I'm so grateful that I've met that shitty person so that I could learn from this person again. I saw a post about that one today. That's why I'm saying it like this. But it's true. Just be grateful, and it gives peace, and you get so much easier through the hard times because you acknowledge, hey, it's there for me to learn something. I don't know yet what the lesson will be, but I'm ready. I learn. I take it on. I take it on. Shoulders under, and off we go.
Mm-hmm. Well, and a lot of times you just got to play through, right?
Mm.
Something comes up, you got to work through it, but you know you're going to, you know, if you get a snowstorm, you know you got to clean out the driveway before you can pull the car out, you know, and some things, you know, whatever it is, the sooner you can accept it for what it is, the sooner
Mm.
you can take responsibility to say, okay, this is what it is. It's not what I like, not what I want, what not what I expected, but it's not the end of the world, right? You break a dish, you know, you get late to someplace, you know, you feel bad, but you also say it happens, right? And it happens
Yeah.
to everybody. So it happened to me today. You know, it's no better when you're reading a newspaper, something happened to somebody else, and then it happens to you. It's like it's the same thing. It just when it comes close, now you become more aware. Now you become sensitive. And, you know,
Mm.
people can't always say it's not fair because what is fair? That's such a word that covers everything and nothing, you know? So I just look at it like, what's next? right? If you just
Yeah.
ask yourself, what's next? I mean, I just came from something, I'm in the middle of something, but I can start again visualizing, seeing a better future, seeing how this is going to help me in some way, right? Because it's going to make me pay attention, to that. And that's really the key is re-evaluating, resetting, taking responsibility. The other day we had manifestation. I mean, all these words are powerful. And if you can improve any one of the ways you look at them, apply them, and communicate them, right? That's going to project. And, to Andrea's point, because this is like a learning laboratory.
Mm.
People are telling me people are responding to them differently and they can't quite understand. And I said, well, a lot of things that you've changed are subtle, but they're noticeable,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
When you get a little more confidence, when you have a little bit more positive attitude, when you listen a little bit more, when you give a little bit more, and you'll find as you can keep ramping up what you can give, what you can support, what you can provide to the right people the right way, it's going to accelerate coming back to you. So not only do you shorten the learning curve, you shorten the receiving curve, right? And if all you receive is gratitude, that's a huge reward. Like Andrea says, if somebody says, I took your class, I learned so much, I enjoyed so much, you've just gifted Andrea. Why? Because you validated the value of what
Mm.
she does, which would encourage you to say, well, let's do a class with 12, right?
Mm.
Why not build on it? If everybody just
Yeah.
when you're eating at a family's table that's friendly, and they always say, why aren't you eating more? Don't you like it? And if you like it,
It's
you
true.
should, right? You must, what's wrong with it? You're not eating, and who knows what enough is. But the point is, it's the same thing. Well, you like that so much. Let me cook up another batch of something like that and let's get together.
Yeah.
And that's how pretty soon the circles get bigger, stronger, better. And then people
Mm.
learn, hey, Andrea's doing this for so many weeks, or here's a lesson. I can do it too,
Mm.
right? And pretty soon they're
Yeah.
creating things for themselves. And that's how this thing can continue to blossom is we never should sit still. We should never be happy with, we should be happy but not satisfied with where we're at. And that's why the key word showed up. That's why multiple co hosts came into play. That's why we're changing the schedule. And that's why, to be more relevant, it should be to the people in the audience. And that's why even scheduling has changed. If someone never comes to a show, never comments on a show, never interacts with anybody on the show, how could they know how to speak here? How do they know who is here and what's been going on? So, that's a responsibility. When you only look at what's in it for me and you forget nothing's in it for you until there's something in it for somebody first, right? You got to put a
Mm.
quarter in the meter to get something. You don't wait for something then pay for it. So, anyways, I know we're close to time.
Mm.
I want to recognize Lillian. Susanna was here today, some new people, uh, and a lot of people, I think to Andrea's point, are getting more comfortable, are interacting, sharing, asking questions. And that's so important because what they say, rising tides, all ships rise with a rising tide. And we can get bigger, better, and faster together. And by accelerating the conversations inside here and more importantly, outside here. So, Andrea, final words.
I wish you all to live every day of your life as best as you can. That's my message for you today.
Sounds great. And take responsibility and feel good about it,
Yeah.
right? Feel
Feel the
proud.
freedom.
Yeah, be responsible. You should be. That's what everybody wants to be. You don't want to be dependent. Be independent. Be strong and be happy. And that's my final
Exactly.
words. So with
Be
that said,
happy. That's a good one.
yeah, best way to end. especially with your jokes and how you laugh at your jokes. They must be good. So, anyways, thank you all. Appreciate it. Come back tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Leslie. We're talking about beliefs, and we got a full schedule going forward. So, thank you again, Andrea. And
Thank you for having me. Thank everybody else for your good comments here. Lovely to see you all again.
well,
Meeting
see
you
you
next week.
next Tuesday. Me and Andrea. Talk to you later. Bye for now.